Bismillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi yassir wa la tu'assir wa tammim bil khair. Let's begin lesson number 8. And inshallah, in this lesson, we will learn about a new phrase, which is demonstrative phrase, ismul ishara wa musharun ilayhi. And then we will learn about two adverbs. Adverb in Arabic is also called dharf. And amama, that means in front of, and khalfa, that means behind. After that, inshallah, we will learn about ismun mabniyun, fixed noun, ending with alif. So we know that nouns are three types. They are munsarif, yani flexible, and we have ghair munsarif, partially flexible, and then we have nouns that are fixed, mabniyun. That means the ending does not change. And one verb, jalasa. So let's continue here. We have already learned two phrases. So do you remember what are the two phrases that we have already learned? We have learned, yes, prepositional phrase, al-jar wal-majroor. Okay, and we have also learned possessive phrase, al-idafatu. So two of them we have already completed. And inshallah, in today's lesson, we are going to learn about demonstrative phrase, which is called ismul ishara wa musharun ilayhi. Okay, so what is basically ismul ishara wa musharun ilayhi? As we can see here that it has two parts. The first one is the demonstrating pronoun, which is ismul ishara. And we have learned four of them. We have learned four. Do you remember the names? We have learned hadha, hadhihi, dhalika, and tilka, right? We have learned four. And yes, and inshallah, we will see like musharun ilayhi, the demonstrated noun, the noun that is pointed at. So ishara basically means to point when you are pointing towards something. So you are the one who is pointing, so you are using ismul ishara, and you are pointing at something, so that is called musharun ilayhi. So that is the combination of ismul ishara and musharun ilayhi. In this construction, the noun after ismul ishara is always takes al with it. That is a very, very important point. Let me repeat it again. In this construction, the noun after ismul ishara always takes al with it, like hadal baytu. So we have hada, as we know that this is ismul ishara, or we say demonstrative pronoun, and the noun that follows it has al with that, hadal baytu. And the translation is this house, hadal baytu, this house. And similarly, we can see over here, tilka, and after that we have as-sa'atu. So tilka will be ismul ishara, and as-sa'atu will be musharun ilayhi. Why? Because we are pointing at it. So this is the word that we use for pointing, and this is something that is pointed at, or something that is demonstrated at. Tilka sa'atu, that watch. Now I have a question here. When you say this house and that watch, is the meaning clear when you say this house and that watch? Is it clear like what I'm trying to say? Or is it like you're waiting for something for me to say so that the meaning becomes clear? Excellent. So when I say hadha al-baytu, and when I say tilka sa'atu, and this house and that watch, the meaning is not clear. And that's why we call this phrase. Why do we call them phrase? Because phrase is incomplete sentence. Yes, it is an incomplete construction where the meaning is not complete. So it can be either subject or it can be predicate, but it cannot convey the meaning by itself. So that's why we call it phrase. So that's why we say that these are phrases. As we have learned, the prepositional phrase jar majroor, and we have learned possessive phrase mudafun wa mudafun ilayhi, and similarly we are learning demonstrative phrase ismul ishara wa musharun ilayhi. Now I want to change it into a complete sentence. So for example, if I make it subject hadha al-baytu, and after that I bring the predicate jadidun, now the meaning is clear. So hadha al-baytu becomes subject and predicate, and jadidun becomes predicate, and the meaning is clear, and the meaning is this is a new house. Okay, house is missing here, so this is a new house. So now we can see that ismul ishara can be subject or it can be predicate, but we cannot break it into two, and we cannot say hada and then al baytu jadidun. That will be wrong. Okay, so we will say either it is subject or it is used as predicate. So hada al baytu jadidun. Yeah, if there is no al, then it will not be a demonstrative phrase. That's a very good question. For example, if you say hada baytun, when you say hada baytun, what does it mean? Hada baytun. It means this is a house, right? We have learned about it from lesson number 1. So when we have hada baytun, that means it means it's a complete sentence, and it means this is a house, right? But when you say hada al baytu, that means this house. Look at the translation, this house. So there is a very big difference when you have hada and after that you have indefinite noun, and we know that the combination of definite noun and indefinite noun makes a complete sentence, and this is subject and this is predicate. Similarly here we need a subject and predicate. So here ismul ishara hadha al-bayt is subject and jadidun is predicate. Similarly, we say tilka sa'atu jamilatun. Tilka sa'atu will be the subject and jamilatun will be predicate. And we know that subject and predicate are equal in number and gender. So tilka sa'atu is feminine, and jamilatun is also feminine. So subject is feminine, predicate is feminine. Subject is singular and predicate is also singular. Here, hadal baytu, baytu is masculine, and that's why predicate is also masculine. Hadal baytu jadidun. So the difference is very clear that after ismul ishara, after hada or hadihi or tilka or dhalika, if we have al, then it becomes demonstrative phrase, it becomes ismul ishara wa musharan ilayhi. If after hada we don't have al, that means it is a complete sentence. Hada baytun is a complete sentence, but hada al baytu is not a complete sentence. Hada al baytu is incomplete sentence. This is demonstrative phrase, and this is subject, and after that we need to bring predicate. And when we say jadidun or kabirun, big, hada al baytu kabirun, this house is big, then inshallah it becomes a complete sentence. So I hope it's clear now. Okay, something interesting here. There is always a coordination between or in ismul ishara and musharun ilayhi in all the 4 properties of the noun. So that means, what does that mean? That ismul ishara and musharun ilayhi must be equal in 4 properties of the noun. And you remember 4 properties of the noun. We have been talking from the beginning of the course that a noun consists of 4 things. It consists of capacity, and that means a nakira wal marifa, and it consists of gender. So we have capacity, then we have gender, jins, and then we have number, adad, and we have i'rab, status. So that's why I named it 4D analysis of the noun. And you can say C, G, and S. Capacity, C is capacity, and G is gender, and N is number, and status is S. Okay, this is very, very important for us to remember. And if you remember in this order, inshallah, it will be easier for you to follow up. So that's why we say that C, G, and S, capacity, gender, number, and status. So that means ismul ishara and musharun ilayhi must be equal in 4 properties of the noun. For example, hada, is it definite or indefinite? Yes, please, I need your answers quickly. Hada is definite or indefinite? Is this nakira or marifa? This is marifa, definite, excellent. And what about al-baytu? Al-baytu is also definite. This is also marifa because it has al. Okay. Hada is masculine or feminine? Hada is used for masculine. Excellent. Al baytu is masculine or feminine? Masculine. Excellent. So both of them are equal in gender. Adad. Okay. Hada is used for singular or plural? Hada is used for one. Excellent. And al baytu is also one. Okay. So first check complete, second check complete, third check complete. Okay. And the fourth check, we have to see the ending. Okay. So what is the ending of hada? Yani, what is the status of hada? Is it marfu, mansub, or majroor? It's marfu. Excellent. Perfect. And similarly, al baytu has dhamma as well. Excellent. So our four checks are complete. So when your four checks are complete, that means that you are able to understand that this is a demonstrative phrase. Now we have as-sayyaratu, so we know that as-sayyaratu is feminine, and that's why we have to use hadhihi, because hadhihi is feminine and as-sayyaratu is feminine. And hadhihi is marifa, and as-sayyaratu is marifa, and hadhihi is singular and as-sayyaratu is singular, and similarly hadhihi is marfu and as-sayyaratu is marfu. So here dhalika rajulu, that man, and they are also, we can see that they are equal in four: capacity, gender, number, and status. And similarly, tilka sa'atu, they are also equal in four properties. Tilka is feminine, as-sa'atu is feminine, tilka is marifa, and as-sa'atu is marifa. Tilka is singular and as-sa'atu is singular, and similarly, tilka is marfu and as-sa'atu is marfu. So these are the two things that you need to remember. Number one, that after ismul ishara, the noun must take al. That's number one. And number two, they must be equal in four properties of the noun: C, G, and S. All right. Is this clear? Shall we move on? Now, inshallah, when you do the lesson will be very easy for you. Ad-darsu al-thaminu, lesson number 8. Hadha rajulu. So what will be the translation of hadha rajulu? This is a man or this man? Hadha rajulu. This man, right? Excellent. So hadha rajulu will be subject. And after that, we need predicate. And we know that tajir. What should be the ending of tajir? Hadha rajulu, taji. This man is a merchant. So we know that subject and predicate, both of them are marfu. Excellent. So it should be marfu. Excellent. So hadha rajulu tajirun. This man is a merchant. Wadhalika rajulu, and we know wow means and. Dhalika rajulu, that man, subject. And tabib, what should be the ending of tabib? Tabibun, that man is a doctor. Excellent. So this man is a merchant and that man is a doctor. So now I'm sure it's very clear that when we say hadha rajulu, it means this man. And when we say dhalika rajulu, it means that man. And how do we get the meaning of is? Do you remember how do we get the meaning of is? When we have a combination of definite noun and indefinite noun. When we put marifa and nakira together, then we get the meaning of is. For example, hadha rajulu is definite and tajirun is indefinite. It's lesson number 1. So just a revision, okay? And then we have number 2, ismut tajiri mahmudun. The name of the merchant is Mahmud. So again, yes, excellent. Ismut tajiri mudaf mudaf alayh, perfect. And mudaf mudaf alayh fahuwa subject. This is mubtada'un. And tajirun mahmudun, sorry, is predicate, as we can see here. Wasmut tabibi, so wow, and we know that the hamza of ism is hamzatul wasl, so we will say wasmut tabibi, and the name of the doctor Sa'idun is Sa'id. So subject predicate, and similarly we have subject and predicate, yani mubtada'un wa khabarun. After that we have hadhal baytu, this house, lit tajiri, belongs to the merchant or is for the merchant. وَذَلِكَ الْبَيْتُ, and that house, لِلطَّبِيبِ, is for the doctor. And again, this is subject and this is predicate. We know that jar majroor will always be predicate, and it is in the place of predicate. And similarly, ذَلِكَ الْبَيْتُ is subject and لِلطَّبِيبِ is predicate. Okay. This house belongs to the merchant and that house belongs to the doctor. Okay. Bayt al-Tajiri amam al-masjidi. Okay, now here we have what? We have Bayt al-Tajiri, so this will be subject, and amam al-masjidi will be predicate. Okay, what do you remember about amam? As we discussed in the beginning of the lesson, that it is dharf, yani it is adverb plus mudaf. Yeah, so it is what? It is adverb. Adverb means dharf, so it is adverb, and similarly it is mudaf. It yani functions as mudaf, so that's why it has two qualities, and we need to remember these two qualities, that this is dharf plus mudaf, and we know that after mudaf the noun is always majroor, so it will be mudaf ilayh. So bayt al-tajiri is also mudaf ilayh, and amam al-masjidi is also mudaf ilayh. So that as I told you, that these incomplete constructions, they can be subject and they can be predicate. There is one incomplete construction, or there is one phrase that cannot be subject. Do you remember what phrase is that? That cannot be subject? Does anyone remember? Jar majroor. Jar majroor cannot be subject. It will always be predicate. Even if it comes in the place of subject, but it will not be subject, it will always be predicate. However, mudaf alayh can be used in the place of subject, and it can also be used in the place of predicate. Bayt al-tabibi, and the house of the doctor. Khalfa, so this is your dharf number 2. And again, we can see that this is a dharf plus mudaf, and that's why al-madrasati is majroor, because khalfa is used as mudaf. The house of the merchant is in front of the masjid, and the house of the doctor is behind the school. So amama is in front of and khalfa is behind. Okay, I have a question. We have already learned one dharf, one adverb. What was that? We have learned in lesson number 5. Do you remember that dharf that we have learned already? We have learned tahta. Tahta, excellent. Yeah. So we have learned tahta as well. So now you can make your list of adverbs that are used as mudaf. We also call them dharf or adverb. They are used as mudaf. So we have learned 3 now. We have learned number 1 tahta, that means under. Number 2, we have learned amama, that is as we can see in front of. And number 3, we have learned khalfa, that is under. And please remember that they are always mansub, yani they always have fatha. So you can see tahta has fatha, and amama has fatha, and khalfa has fatha. Why do they have fatha? Because dharf, adverb, is always mansub. Dharf is always mansub, so that's why they have fatha. Then we have liman hadhihi sayyaratu wa liman tilka. Okay, liman hadhihi sayyaratu. Okay, now I have a question. Which is the subject and which is the predicate? Liman hadhihi sayyaratu wa liman tilka. Please tell me quickly, which one is the subject? Liman or hadhihi sayyaratu? Excellent. Hadhihi sayyaratu is the subject and liman is predicate. As I mentioned a while ago, that jar majroor cannot be subject. It cannot be mubtadaun. It will always be khabarun. It will always be predicate. Even if it comes in the place of the subject, it doesn't mean that it becomes subject. It always remains as predicate, as khabar. Wa and liman tilka. And okay, for who is that? Okay, now what does that mean, liman tilka? Basically, we know that sayyaratu has already been mentioned, so that's why we know from the context that we are talking about the car, so that's why there is no need to mention it after that. So it gets dropped or it gets omitted. So it will be waliman tilka sayyaratu. Liwaliman tilka sayyaratu. Who is this car for, and who is that? And as you can see, I put it in the brackets. And the brackets means that it is clear, and we know from the background that we are talking about the car, and that's why we put here car for. Excellent. Who is this car for, and who is that car for? Or who does this car belong to, and who does that car belong to? هذه السيارة للطبيب. So we can see here that هذه السيارة is the subject, and للطبيب is predicate. As we see that jar majroor will always be predicate. وتلك للتاجري وتلك للتاجري وتلك what يعني للتاجري. That means وتلك السيارة للتاجري, and that car belongs to the merchant. Okay, so the reason why we are being introduced to this expression is in the Quran. Inshallah, when you learn more, you will see that there are many places in the Quran where a noun will be omitted, a noun will be dropped. So that's what Sheikh is telling us from here, that we should get ready for that, that sometimes we are looking for the noun. So when you look at the translation, you will find the translation over there. But when you see in the Quran, you will not see it. So that means that from the context, we will know that the noun has been dropped. So that's why the Sheikh is telling us over here that Patilka Sayyaratu Litajiri, and that car, and that's why I put it in the brackets. And the reason why I put it in the brackets, so that in the Quran, whenever you see something in the brackets, and that means that is additional information. So that's why in the Quran, when you look at the English translation in the brackets, and that means that this is something additional. Okay, then we have the last one. We have هذه السيارة من اليابان, and this car is from Japan. وتلك يعني وتلك السيارة من أمريكا, and that car is from America. Okay, now what is the ending of America? It ends with alif. Okay, is it marfu or mansub or majroor? Yes, please tell me quickly. So هذه السيارة is subject, and min al-yabani is predicate, and watilka min America, and that is from America. So now what is the i'rab of America? America is majroor. Why it is majroor? Because we have min before it, right? So we know that whenever there is min before a noun, the noun is majroor. However, this noun is fixed. That means the ending will not change. So we cannot see the ending, but because of min, we know that this noun is majroor. This noun is majroor. Yeah, because this is mabniyun. Excellent. So as we can see over here, this noun is mabniyun, yani this noun is fixed, as we can see over here. So that's why we say that watilka min America, and that is from America. This car is from Japan, and that car is from America. Intaha ad-darsu, lesson finished. So alhamdulillah, we have some new information in this lesson, and if you are able to, like grasp the new ideas in every lesson, we don't have like too many new ideas, 2, 3, or 4 ideas, and if you practice them, inshallah, learning of the Quran and learning of Arabic language will be inshallah very easy for us. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.